What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Burndown YouTube channel. So today we are going to put in our hour a day. Happel's really adamant about that, and then I usually try to preach that a bunch, although I do have to say that I'm spoiled because I usually have good weather. So it's easy to be like, you need to get outside, and I understand that a lot of you guys live in different parts of the country. Some of you are in different parts of the world, and the weather may not be very nice to you. So it's a bit harder to get outside if it's snowing or raining or terrible. Well, I live in Southern California and I'm spoiled, but I'm not so close to the ocean that I get 100% of the benefit. So we've had this heat wave rolling through here, and I think a lot of the other parts, like the middle America, Midwest states, have been doing it in Bacon. I think a lot of America, maybe some other spots too, but anyway, it's been triple digits for quite a while. So I waited to the end of the day, so I have about an hour, maybe a little bit more, that we can play with the boom. But we need to pull the drivetrain out of it. So I got a little shade. I have to work outside, by the way, because all this stuff, there's no room in there. So all my work gets done out here. So we'll pull the boom over. I got to make sure it's in a spot that it can live for a little bit, because we got to put lovely on jack stands over here. We are pulling the drivetrain out. If you're wondering why we're pulling a good running 9-second car apart, is because we want to upgrade. And there's a bunch of changes I'd like to make before we go back to Rocky Mountain Race Week 1.0 next year. And before we go, hopefully, my MO is terrible, but I'd really like to have a tested car and something that I feel really good about before we drive thousands of miles and unload it and then try to drive 1,500 miles and race every day. So that is the plan and the goal. So we are doing an engine upgrade, a transmission upgrade. I have to do sheet metal. That's why we're pulling everything out, to make room for the 480E. And then we'll probably have to change the yoke, cut the driveline down. And then while I'm cutting things apart, I'm going to pull the fuel tank and everything out of the back. I think we're going to remove a lot of the trunk area, which is kind of rotten and junk anyway, so we'll see how bad it was. But I want to make room for a bit larger tire. I'd like to go 275, and that should be all the tire this car will really need to put in some work. Up to this point, it's been an 8.5-inch tire. Right now, I've got a 9. I squeezed a 9, but that's pretty much as big as we can go with the stock wheel tubs and everything on here. So that's kind of the plan. And then we're going to go water to air. So, I mean, we'll probably change the hot side too. I mean, let's just be honest. So, hot side, cold side, fuel tank. I'm going to quit talking because I'm getting tired. So let's move this thing over. I'm not going to waste my whole day dreaming about what we have to do. Let's get to work. So we'll put in an hour, see how far we can get. And tomorrow's another day. We'll get this thing done by the end of the week. And then hopefully over the weekend, we start cutting that tunnel out, making some room for the big old 480E that's going to go in there. Here she is. Old neglected. Look at that. Woo! So what happens, kicker gets on board and you get all excited and distracted like a audio squirrel over here. But I can only do so much. And honestly, it was so hot. It was a lot more fun to play with speakers than it was to lay under this thing. But back to business. Let's get this thing rolling. Woo! Some heat in here, boys. Ugh. Welcome to the Maliboom oven. The Maliboom Easy Bake Oven. Start. It's alive. Look at that cool. It's 106. That gives you an idea of how warm it is out today. I just started that, so there's no way. Woo! 107 after running for 2 seconds. 108. All right, let's move it over before this thing's gonna be smoking hot and I don't want to lay underneath it. Here is one last look at the Maliboom setup in its current form. This is what we have. This is what we ran at Race Week 1.0. Nothing pretty much has changed from that, other than I did put spall fans on here. Cold side turbo, everything on here is the same that you saw, even a power glide, and that's the same one that I got and fixed at Race Week. So, last look at that setup before we make some changes to it. So this is going to be majority of the changes are going to be engine, transmission, and then we'll put some tire on it. And then I think we're going to get rid of this so that we have better airflow to the radiator so we can stay nice and cool. And we're gonna go water to air. That'll change the cold side, and then depending, we'll probably end up having to change hot side as well. As you can see, I have more room over here, so I haven't decided, but that box that I have may actually fit over here. So we're gonna have to play with that as we go. But name of the game today is to pull stuff out. So one last look at it. This setup worked well. We'll probably make quite a few changes before she's back up and running again. So let's get working. That is a wrap for today. Doesn't seem like we got much done, but it was basically an hour, a little less, but I have to clean up. So I've got an official first grader. So my son is in public school. He's 6 years old, so we were trying to get the hang and in the swing of things. He was in a different school and it was a little bit simpler, but now we're at the mercy of the public school system, as were before we really weren't. So everything, the schedule is a little hectic around here. So I need to make sure that I'm in the house and we do the dinner and we do all the stuff so you can go to bed on time so we can get the routine sorted out. So I'm gonna call it early so I don't get myself in trouble. But we've got all the fluids out. We got it on jack stands. We got it in place where it's gonna live. I can still get in and out of the driveway. Battery disconnected, the safety blanket off, that off, the cable disconnected, and that's where we're gonna call it a wrap for today. It doesn't seem like much, but this puts me in a good position. Like I said, we're only doing an hour. This gets me in the position that I can come out here tomorrow, stuff's not warm for me running it, and moving things around or whatever, and we can just start ripping it all apart. So we should in theory, I should be able to get this out within an hour. So we'll get it ripped out tomorrow and then hopefully get that cleaned up. And then we're gonna we gotta take the stuff inside apart because we have to cut the firewall. I have to move carpets. We'll probably have to pull the wire. I might pull the whole computer out because the computer sits right there, so that we don't get anything in it or mess it up. So it's a little more involved than just taking the motor out because we have to strip a bit more stuff out. Like I said, take the Holley system out, move some of the stuff back, and protect it from welding. And I don't want to cause myself more issues. So we will get after it. We're going to keep rolling, but hopefully we can have this thing out in the next video. That is the goal. And then we're going to keep moving ahead. I will say though, it is really weird to take a good running normal vehicle apart. Like I could have gotten this thing and driven it anywhere today before we started taking it apart. So it's the first time I think in this thing's history. Well, I pulled it apart before, but not at this state. Like, I don't know, a little awkward, but we got to go faster. We have goals, and this was like bringing a knife to a gunfight. So we're gonna have to step it up so we can facilitate a better adventure at Rocky Mountain Race Week 1.0 next year. You guys know what to do. Like, subscribe, share. I'm gonna clean up. I'm out.